Fans of The View are perplexed by Whoopi Goldberg's strange noises and motions during a live performance. During the Hot Topics segment, Sarah Haynes told a story about Whoopi acting like a cat. Whether or not the host should notify their guests when they are inviting someone they do not get along with to an event was the topic of discussion on Tuesday's episode of The View. The women engaged in a dispute, with Sunny Hostin and Joy Behar holding divergent views. Sarah recounted how she attended a friend's party while being aware that a woman who had harassed her was there. Sarah began to tell another story about the woman when Joy suggested that there ought to be a chance to avenge her. Suddenly, there were cat sounds coming from off-camera. While her co-host was speaking, Whoopi began to growl like a cat. As the ad music played, she continued to do it. As her fellow presenters chuckled, she exclaimed, "Let's go, ftet." Whoopi raised up her hands as if they were cat claws and made a strange noise. As the moderator kept making strange noises, Sarah took a sip of her tea. Whoopi shook her head before the show went to commercial when Sunny added another story. She could be heard telling Sarah, "That was fun," as the camera pans out. Sarah corrected Whoopi earlier this week, despite the fact that she sat back and remained silent during her shenanigans on Tuesday. During Monday's episode, The View moderator discussed the Rolling Stones list of the 200 greatest singers of all time. At the beginning of the month to commemorate 2023, the publication released its list of the top musicians. Whoopi bemoaned the outlet's failure to feature a number of exceptionally gifted vocalists, including as the late great Ella Fitzgerald. "Ella Fitzgerald is not on the list," yelled the 67-year-old. "No." The comic continued by mentioning other well-known performers who were not present, including Kenny Rogers, MC Hammer, and Nat King Cole. Sarah, 45, had to interrupt Whoopi after she had concluded her tirade to say, "I have a correction. Ella Fitzgerald is on there." "So that's good news," the host remarked, seeming uneasy as she turned to the crowd. "She's 25, Sarah said, then pressed her earpiece and asked, "What is it?" "She's 45, I see." One of the show producers was seated in the crowd, looking grim, when the camera panned to him. Whoopi has previously displayed strange behavior on the show. Fans were once again perplexed by her last July. It all began when the hosts began talking about the Choco Taco's demise around the middle of the show. Fans noticed right on that the moderator was bored throughout the entire debate, seldom participating and giving off the impression that she didn't want to be there. The conversation then shifted to the host's fears of being followed when driving alone, and of home invaders hiding in the shadowy parts of their homes. Fans were surprised to find that Whoopi remained uninterested in the entire discussion, even though her coworkers were candid about their anxieties. She once jokingly encouraged her co-hosts to continue by merely resting her head on her hand. As the program went on, the moderator started to lose all interest in it and started experimenting with her laser pointer, which further astounded the audience. One perplexed viewer inquired, "What is Whoopi doing?" The same question was raised by another, who tweeted, "What's Whoopi doing? She seemed disinterested." Whoopi was acting kinda weird for the entirety of the show, according to other people. One shocked viewer wrote, "Whoopi, we know you hate being on The View. However, it was extremely offensive to your co-hosts today for you to roll your eyes and play with a laser pointer." "What is wrong with Whoopi Goldberg?" a second person said. "She rolled her eyes before gazing out into space. She is receiving a huge paycheck for no reason. It was an ordinary weekday morning on The View, or so everyone thought." The co-hosts were diving headfirst into their hot topics, debating politics, pop culture, and the latest internet controversies. Fans of the show tuned in for their usual dose of lively discussion, sharp opinions, and occasional lighthearted banter. But midway through the live broadcast, something peculiar happened. Off to the side, co-host and Hollywood legend Whoopi Goldberg seemed preoccupied. As Sunny Hostin passionately made her point, the camera caught Whoopi standing just out of frame, making curious noises and gesturing wildly. At first, it was subtle, a strange hum here, a faint tapping sound there, but soon, the peculiarities escalated, leaving viewers baffled. The moment didn't immediately register with the other co-hosts. Joy Behar was mid-rant about the state of politics, her Brooklyn accent slicing through the chatter like a knife. Sarah Haynes nodded along earnestly, while Alyssa Farah Griffin tried to interject. Sunny Hostin, unbothered by the cacophony, pressed forward with her rebuttal. It was standard view chaos until the noises from Whoopi grew louder. The first audible sound was a low-pitched hum, followed by a sudden sharp whistle. Viewers at home tilted their heads. Was that Whoopi? The camera didn't cut to her immediately, but eagle-eyed fans noticed a faint movement in the corner of the screen. Then came the rhythmic clapping, slow, deliberate, and entirely out of sync with the discussion at hand. Social media exploded. "Why is Whoopi clapping like a seal off camera?" One fan tweeted, accompanied by a gif of confused SpongeBob. Another chimed in, "Whoopi Goldberg is up to something on #TheView, and I need to know what it is. Anyone else hearing this?" Back on set, it took a few minutes for the co-hosts to catch on. Joy, ever the skeptic, was the first to notice. She paused mid-sentence, squinting toward Whoopi with a mix of amusement and irritation. "Whoopi," Joy said, leaning forward, "are you trying to summon a spirit or what?" The audience erupted in laughter. The camera finally panned to Whoopi, who froze like a kid caught sneaking cookies before dinner. She was standing beside the panel, one hand raised as if mid-gesture, the other holding what appeared to be a kazoo. "Oh, don't mind me," Whoopi said nonchalantly, slipping the kazoo behind her back, just adding a little flair to the conversation. "Flair?" Sunny asked, raising an eyebrow. "It sounded like you were auditioning for Stomp." Whoopi's antics didn't stop there. She began tapping her foot against the floor, creating a beat that, while undeniably catchy, had absolutely nothing to do with the segment at hand. Then came the soft, guttural noises, somewhere between a hum and a growl, that left her co-hosts and the audience howling with laughter. "Whoopi, what is going on?" Sarah finally asked, unable to suppress her giggles. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Whoopi insisted, waving them off. "I was just experimenting." "Experimenting with what?" Alyssa pressed, her voice tinged with mock concern. "Performance art?" "Life," Whoopi declared dramatically, throwing her arms in the air. "Sometimes you've got to express yourself in ways words just can't handle." Joy rolled her eyes. "Well, can you express yourself a little quieter? You're drowning out my very important points over here." As the show continued, fans on social media were in full detective mode. Theories about Whoopi's strange behavior ranged from the hilarious to the downright absurd. "Whoopi is practicing for a secret talent show. I bet she's gonna reveal she's an expert beatboxer," one fan speculated. "Mark my words," another wrote. "Whoopi's noises are a coded message to the Illuminati. She's trying to tell us something." Others were simply entertained. The chaos of The View is unmatched. Whoopi out here playing kazoo solos while Joy yells about politics. Peak television.